Member for Peace River North.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad you took 20 seconds to cover off all this government has done being transparent. So I want to thank you, Honourable Speaker. I rise in support, complete support of this motion to acknowledge the importance that government is open and transparent. Listening over the last hour to the government MLA speak to this motion affirms, I think, to British Columbians that this government truly has an issue with transparency and openness. The continuous attempt to raise falsities from past governments, having all the government MLA speaking from the same song sheet, it really should be concerning to British Columbians. Not really recognizing any of the accomplishments that this government has done. Other than the last 20 seconds, we had a couple little things that have been brought forward. Should really worry British Columbians, Honourable Speaker. As a government, transparency goes beyond just promises. It goes beyond just words, and that's all we've heard from this government is words, no action. It requires conversations with the public, and for us as public officials, we need to evaluate our practices and learn from our mistakes and always strive to do what is better for British Columbians with the information and given the information that they have as citizens of our province. Information that allows them to make decisions in their own lives to improve the safety and well-being of their families, their businesses, and their communities. As we have seen in recent headlines, there have been some significant mistakes made recently that government can learn from and hopefully move forward with more openness. Throughout the pandemic, the official opposition, along with British Columbians, have requested more information from this government on a range of issues. In Surrey, the area suffering the impacts of COVID-19 the most have gone without the crucial information that they need. And yet, the province hid the disparity in vaccines between communities, with some of our lowest income communities suffering the most. The neighbourhoods with the highest rates of transmission were being hidden from the greater risks that they faced. When we talk about data transparency, we also need to talk about the importance of disaggregated data. Members of this chamber have been calling on the government for months to collect and release the data impacts of COVID-19. We need to understand how different communities in our province are impacted by this crisis. And data is the way to shed light on the inequalities that manifest within our healthcare system and our communities. We know that there are systemic inequalities within our healthcare system, and the important data is necessary to reflect and improve these systems has either gone unmeasured or was held in secret. If we want to build trust and create a better, more equitable system, we need to measure and publish disaggregated data. Last fall, the public was in the dark on information for long-term care homes. These are easily the hardest hit institutions by this pandemic. Yet, unbeknownst to the public, the government had more information than it let on and willingly chose to withhold it from citizens. Why, might you ask, would the government hide this information pertaining to COVID-19 and long-term care homes in October? I'll tell you why. Maybe it was the unnecessary pandemic election. Honourable Speaker, trust in our government is so vitally important. When British Columbians are being asked to make the incredible sacrifices that they are being asked, and it should not have taken the guilty conscience of a frontline worker at the BC CDC to make this information public. And yet, here we are discussing this. This government has a pattern of failing to be transparent when it is needed most. And what is the impact? Members of the hardest hit communities are left unsafe. Parents are worried that their children's safety, and the most vulnerable are kept in the dark about the dangers around them. British Columbians have gone to such lengths and sacrificed so much to protect our province, and their request of their government is quite simple. Be transparent, release data, and give people the resources that they need to make informed decisions around this pandemic. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, from the bungled caribou, and I could talk at least 30 more minutes on the caribou issue, which is still being mishandled today, I will add, to the many hundreds of Freedom of Information requests that are still unanswered, to this purposeful secrecy around COVID-19 data, the government must do better. Citizens expect it. Just as government has asked British Columbians to trust in them and do what must be done, we only ask the same of government. We ask that you trust in British Columbians and to work with British Columbians. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Noting the hour, member.
Sorry?
Noting the hour.
Noting the hour, I'll move adjournment of debate.